Water.
Earth.
Fire.
Air. This is... What were you saying? This is Yip Yip.
Hooray!
An Avatar podcast.
My back hurts.
Ow.
Your back hurts.
Wow, wow, wow.
Troy, how's your back?
My back is good. Because I'm not. It's good. I'm not on towers and stairs anymore, so that's pretty good.
I mean, it wasn't like a confident good. It was like good, as if his spine was collapsing.
It was good.
As he was saying.
Mine
Yeah.
is not good.
Like, do you need a massage?
No.
Readers, if you can give Katie a massage, could you do that, please?
Well, truth be told, we were listening to the throwback Britney Spears songs last night, and I was dancing around, and I think, yeah, I'm a little sore.
You threw
today.
something out?
Yeah.
Which song?
All kinds. Yeah, it was a good time.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, "Oops, I did it again."
No,
Oops, she hurt her
that's-
back again.
No, that's like my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Oops.
No.
You more like a toxic gal?
I mean that's good
I
too,
mean-
but I liked like Womanizer.
Yeah, no,
and,
like
you know.
I'll be sweeping my kitchen, and then I'll feel my hip go out just a little bit, and then slip back into place just before I go down, and I think to myself, "Oops, I did it again."
What? You're in the kitchen. Your hip goes out a little bit. He like kind of shifts back over, and you say, "What? What?"
He says, oops, I did it again.
"Oh, oops, my hip went out again. Let me just pop it back."
Okay, everyone listening is going to think you two are in like your mid-40s.
God, we feel like we got the bodies of mid-40s.
Troy and I have taken a beating.
Well, I feel like I'm aging at a much slower rate than either of you.
All right, let's cut the chit chat.
Hey, chitters. Welcome back to Yip Yip Hooray, an Avatar
Don't
podcast.
call them that.
This is, it should be called Hip Hip Hooray, I guess, if your guys' hips are like falling out.
Hip
Hey, we're
hip
sticking with
oops
yip,
hooray.
yip.
Hip hip, ouch, my aging body.
Oops, did it again.
Yip Yip, it's coming for us all.
Okay, so we're back.
We're back.
Who are we?
I'm Katie.
Oh, Troy just pointed at me. It's like, as Oregonians, we're very polite. It's like, no, you go first. No, you go first. So I don't know who's going to be introduced, but I'll...
Rock,
Troy
paper,
and Jordan.
scissors.
What the?
He said, "I don't know who's going to be introduced." I said, "Rock, paper, scissors."
Okay,
Oh, we
do
could?
it.
Okay.
Do it. 1, 2, 3.
Ah,
So wait, so I win, I defer, you have to introduce yourself, loser.
T-Roy in the house.
Loser?
Well, like, as in he lost, not that he is a loser. Hey, hips, I'm really sorry about that.
This is a weird start.
Oops, he did it again.
Oh,
Who are you?
I'm a jerk. I'm a big fat jerk.
And you just spit in my eye.
And you just cheated at rock, paper, scissors.
I did, well, if you are a telekinetic, as I am, then yes, I did cheat. It's me, Jay Orden.
Great.
Cool.
All right, we watched 2 episodes today of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
What were the names of the episodes, Katie?
Serpent's Pass and The Drill.
They were originally packaged together in September 2006 as the two-part, 1-hour special, The Secret of the Fire Nation. And again, it's one of those episodes I remember very fondly because in July they had the hour-long special, The Fury of Aang, and then they didn't have any episodes for a couple months to like play with your heart over the summer. Can you imagine the agony I went through? The last thing I saw was Aang sobbing in Katara's arms about losing Appa. There's no closure. There's a motorcycle going by.
I think it's Tyler.
Oh, it's always Tyler.
It's their cousin. We all live together on this compound. Actually, the whole town is just people we're related to.
We're related to half of this.
I recognize that motorcycle sound anywhere.
Okay, wait,
That's
let's-
cousin Tyler.
Okay, wait, but let's talk about this for a second because I don't even know. A few months ago, yeah, there was some annoying motorbike that kept going by, and then, I mean, this is like months later that we figured out it was Tyler.
Well, because we saw this mysterious motorcycle guy driving by with like a bunny head.
Yeah, there's like little ears flapping in the wind.
It was like a typical motorcycle helmet, stereotypical motorcycle helmet with like the visor, but then it was furry and it had 2 bunny ears popping out.
Anyway, if you see that guy, that's Tyler. All right, moving on.
So yeah, I didn't get to see a single episode. Didn't know what was gonna happen. I had to guess. I couldn't even like sit at the lunch table at school and like commiserate with my friends about what was gonna happen. I just had to
Wait, why didn't you see it?
because it was over the summer. Fury of Aang aired in July, and then this one aired like right after school started
That is pretty agonizing.
in September.
Yeah. Okay.
Months.
Got
went
it.
by. But so something about the Secret of the Fire Nation pair of episodes, which is the Serpent's
Pants?
Wow.
No, everyone underestimates the
It's
value
the remix.
of a serpent's pant. You know, it's just one long pant leg, and you get the serpent in it, and you button it up.
Okay, what about it?
So they went around in like the week before the episode aired on Nickelodeon, and they were playing it in movie theaters.
What?
Yeah, they played it in movie theaters, like across America, like in New York, I think Washington, D.C., maybe Philadelphia. But then they were pairing it up with the Avatar trading card game because, of course, there was an Avatar trading card game.
Did you have it?
No, and I didn't know of its existence until this morning.
Oh, good.
So they aired the episode in these movie theaters, and then maybe before they aired the episode, they went through describing the Avatar trading card game, and maybe they showed them like how it works. But I really want a first edition holographic Zuko now.
Wow. Okay.
Have you ever played any trading card games? Any Magic the Gathering fans? Any Pokemon trading card game? Any Yu-Gi-Oh? Any?
Not a fan.
You literally just named every card game I played.
What?
See?
You've played all those?
He's never even played Solitaire, Katie.
I have played Solitaire.
Okay, tell me about your Magic deck.
Like on the computer.
But my Magic deck. Oh boy, I thought getting the deck with all the death cards, the cards that represented death, was really cool. My friend would come in with
Darkness, it's
with
Troy.
fire and water deck, and he would just take me right out. He goes, "You're dead anyway."
Oh,
Who?
Oh, good old Mark from church.
Mark from
from
church. He's like, the power of Christ is gonna kill you, you undead fiend.
Okay.
I just don't know if we're allowed to say last names on this podcast. That's all.
No, we can
No,
keep
whatever.
last names out of this. It's
So-
irrelevant.
Okay, wait. So you played this.
With Mark from church.
Great.
With Mark from church.
Okay.
It was the priest.
Anybody else? I mean, no, wait. What else did you play?
No, he was the only person that would play with me.
What was the other game?
I mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon trading card game.
Oh, come on. You don't know me if you don't remember that I did Pokemon.
No, I do remember
Okay.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
That was like you and Patrick,
Yu-Gi-Oh! I did every other little card game that a boy with no self-esteem would play.
Okay, well, what did
Hey,
you like?
hey, I did that.
That was a dig on you. Okay, what was your favorite?
I gotta say Yu-Gi-Oh!
Dark Magician.
I really appreciated how easy it was to play that game and how much artwork was put into those cards. Like, it was like literally right in the middle between the elementary Pokemon and just the really sinister looking Magic the Gathering.
You just wanted to banish people to the Shadow Realm, you psychopath.
I kind of did.
Okay, I have no idea what we're talking about.
Not to mention that the villain had the coolest haircut, too.
You talking about Pegasus or Bakura?
In Yu-Gi-Oh, I think it was like the first or the second villain. Basically, he had like the hood or his hair covering like the one eye. I just thought that was the
I think it was
coolest.
Pegasus because he had like the
Yes,
eye.
it was Pegasus. To
He
me,
was like a-
Pegasus
Yeah,
was
it
very,
was.
very interesting, very sinister looking villain. It'd be terrifying to play poker with that guy.
Speaking of sinister-looking villains, Azula, anybody?
No,
Quite sinister.
She's not in the Serpent's Path.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Serpent's Pass episode.
Spoiler.
I really enjoy this episode.
Is it because we meet everyone? Like, everybody is in this episode.
Everybody comes back. It's like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Everyone's here.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay,
So-
yes.
But yeah, no, Serpent's Pass, I find out that there's more than one way to cross an ocean.
Yeah?
So
You do?
Yeah, no, it felt like when Katara was like moving the water around and Aang was like helping her out. That looked like the hard way, which I came to find out was true. That was the hardest way they could have crossed.
Okay, so we meet everybody. Who all shows up, Katie?
Well, we see Jet.
Oh, what was it like seeing Jet again?
You know, I'm like, does he ever change? The little thing is thing in his mouth.
Fun fact, I did read this, is that he has a twig in his mouth in the original episode, Jet. And then this episode, he's got a little sprig of wheat.
Oh.
So he's upgraded. He's pretty agrarian now.
Okay. But again, I mean, is that something that he swaps out, or is he going to be chewing on the wheat for
Some wet wheat.
for quite a while?
Troy, what was it like seeing Jet for you? Yep.
Yep. No. It was nice to see him finally like upgrade from a twig to a, what'd you just call it?
Wheat is what I called
Do
it.
you know what wheat is?
Yeah, I know what wheat. Oh yeah, I know what wheat is, and I'm hoping that if we keep seeing his mug,
If Wheat keeps seeing his mug.
if we keep seeing his mug, then he'll like change it to like something different next time.
Oh, so pretty soon it'll just be like a lily.
Yes, or
Hydrangea.
a flower, or maybe they'll give him braces.
So you were excited to see Jet on the basis of he has upgraded what's in his mouth.
yes.
But he was also like trying to, start a new life.
Yeah, he's going for second chances. He came from Bong Sing Se. Also, clearly didn't die when Katara like froze him to the tree.
Right.
What the show has done is they've made heroes and characters that are so likable that Jet is forgettable to me.
Really?
He just is.
I think Jet's very memorable because he's so paranoid and he's so convicted in his path of righteousness to eradicate the Fire Nation. And it seems like he is ready to turn over a new leaf and to go in a new direction in his life. But it's like at the end of the episode in the drill, when he has the suspicion, maybe he's right or not, or maybe he's just still paranoid about Iroh and Zuko being firebenders. It's almost like that new leaf he's beginning to turn over flips back. He's like, wait, firebenders.
Mm-hmm. No, but I could agree with Troy that it's like, I don't think Jet's like when I think about Avatar, I'm not like, oh yeah, Jet.
Right. He is kind of a relic of the first season of these, every episode we kind of meet like a new cast. And Jet and his group are kind of misfits in that way. They don't necessarily feel like they fit in the Avatar universe. I can see that.
Who spit on the desk?
I don't know. I'm wet right now.
Okay, TMI. You know who is special in this episode? Always happy to see. Cabbages.
Cabbage Man.
Troy lit up.
I did.
But not originally, because I don't think you recognized Cabbage Man at first. Like that was a curveball for you.
I had my mouth full of sunflower seeds I was chewing through, and then when it finally dawned on me who it was, yes, I, like an avid fan, I whooped and I yipped.
I whooped and I yipped.
What do you mean you whooped?
Friends, he didn't do any of that. We did kind of cheer after we realized it was Cabbage Man. But it was so fun watching the platypus bear just wreak havoc on his cabbages.
That darn bear.
I wish we would have provided Troy like a bowl of cabbage, as a foreshadow.
You're gonna need these, Troy.
My cabbages. Okay, so those two of the characters we met. Who is the other character that we met, Katie?
Suki, who Troy did not recognize.
I know it's hard,
I'm sorry. I mean, Suki, she is unforgettable, but it just happened to slip past my mind. Do I get the excuse that she did not have her makeup on?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and we haven't seen her since episode 4.
Because it wasn't until Sokka brought the Kyoshi warriors, I was like, Suki, that's Suki. Okay. Boom, boom. Another dawns on me wow, they really did pull the strings, or didn't pull any strings, and they brought all the characters on.
Yeah, and it's great because she comes up and is calling them out, and
Sokka's like, wait, who's this?
And I'm just like, another Fire Nation spy.
She pulls the mask off her face. It's Admiral Zhao. He's still here.
Still kisses him on the cheek.
Okay, and so something that happened in this episode is I feel like Toph was MVP, right?
Oh, yes.
She even starting at the beginning when we meet everybody, we're trying to get our tickets to get on the boat, and then we can't.
I don't understand what she gave the ticket lady.
She totally had a Bruce Wayne moment where she got them to the next phase with her reputation or her money, and she had a document transportation, which I'm pretty sure is like the most perfect passport that they can get back in those days.
I mean, but what would have been? What's the equivalent?
Right, you don't understand because you're a peasant.
Oh, it's true.
It probably would have been the equivalent of the royal family showing their passports to...
Well, it wasn't even a passport, though. It was just like a symbol. Like, it would be the royal family. Like, it'd be an obscure member of the royal family you've never heard of walking up and be like, hey, see these crown jewels?
Right, but you don't know that that's not a thing.
I know.
Yeah.
We also know that certain people aren't just showing up to the airports and they're like, oh, hey, here's my pass.
Like, I've heard that Congress members have that kind of power at their disposal.
God, I bet we sound so stupid to some like elite person listening to this.
All the elite people, we only have an elite fan base.
Well, it'd help if they actually educated us on how they work.
Yeah, help me into your conspiracies.
Come on, guys.
Okay, yeah, so Toph shows whatever magic seal she gets, and the lady's like, this is worth 4 tickets, man.
So there's that.
Does Toph have multiple of those? She just have one?
I think she just has one pass, and it's like, oh, like if you're in a pickle, here, flash this card.
It's your pickle pass. There's also green. I get that. Okay, so yeah, going off of how Toph is MVP, I mean, she saves their butts no less than 4 times in this episode, including when she's like, here, let's get on this ferry. And then she like saves husband. I don't remember his name.
Well, we have adopted like the family, that's the husband and the pregnant wife. I guess I don't know they're married, but anyway. And then I guess that there's like an older teenage daughter.
I don't know, maybe like a nanny, maybe a sister.
Right, somebody else is there.
I don't think they're old enough to have an older teenage daughter.
Well, you never know.
That's true. Okay, so these people show up one other time prior to their appearance in the Serpent's Pass. Do you guys remember or have any guesses?
Is it foaming at the mouth?
I wish. They're actually from Kyoshi Island. It's
I was
crazy.
gonna say that was the husband.
And Suki was like, hey guys.
Just wait till season 3 when Foam with the Mouth guy joins and we find out he's like a foam bender.
Now, if you don't know about foaming at the mouth guy.
Okay, so this family shows up once before in Zuko alone when Zuko is like roaming the wastelands. He sees like that group all by themselves who's like eating, and then he like holds his stomach, and then he sees that she's pregnant, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna keep going.
Oh, yeah.
So that's when they show up before. Okay, and then what else does Toph do to save the day? She saves Sokka, who's about to die, one other time. Because he pushes Suki out of the way. And then Toph saves them again when they're going the underwater path with the Serpent's Pass. Toph raises them back up. She's everywhere.
I know. And then can the favor be returned when she like has to go in the water? It's like drowning, can't swim.
Well, you brought up a good point. Like when Toph was trying to navigate over like Ice Bridge, and Sokka's just like coaching her through, like
right, like that she's sticking on her little dirt island, her like piece of rock, doesn't want to go on the ice because she can't see. And Sokka's like, oh, just like follow my voice, blah, blah, blah. It's like, why didn't he just walk out on the ice?
It seemed pretty uncharacteristic of Sokka, but I think it was just to service the joke of Suki jumping into the water.
Was that a joke?
Well, it turned into a joke. Okay,
you?
the character moment of showing like how awesome Suki is and how brave and courageous she is, like when that ice bridge is broken, she doesn't hesitate. Sokka's like, wait, Toph, I'm gonna come and save you, because Sokka needs to orate everything he's doing.
So as soon as we see Sokka about to take off his boot, and
he's gonna get into his like underwear.
Yeah, as he's saying like, I'm gonna come save you, it totally brings me back to when I was trained to be a lifeguard back in 2012. They show us a video, and they say, if you see somebody in the deep end drowning, you blow your whistle, you point at that person, you stand up, you safely take off your slippers, safely take off your shirt, and then you safely climb down from the lifeguard stand, grab your tube, and jump into the water.
Wow.
That whole sequence would probably take a person about 10 seconds if they were to do it safely. But most people don't have 10 seconds. Like, they need to be caught now. So that's what that Sokka moment brought me back to.
So would you be Sokka or would you be Suki?
I would be Suki. It's sad how I actually had to think about that.
Slippers on,
No, Suki goes in with like so much equipment. She's got those robes, probably her
I
fans.
heard it's probably weighing her down too.
And she got there so fast. Mm-hmm. And then you get like the best line of that whole episode where Toph kisses Suki and she's like, actually, it's me.
And then, I mean, we feel like Toph definitely has a crush on Sokka.
Everybody has a crush on Sokka, including Ty Lee in the next episode.
Oh my god.
And
I think
friends.
Sokka has a crush on Sokka.
I have a crush on Sokka. Who wouldn't have a crush on Sokka?
Me.
Oh, I'm kind of like Sokka. Can't bend. Got some ideas.
Don't look at me. I'm totally crushing on Iroh.
I mean, that's the real one we should be crushing on.
That's the better crush. All right.
Okay. So, Sokka and Suki's storyline in this episode. What did you think about Sokka being so overprotective of Suki?
Fine. I'll go.
Yes.
As a woman, Katie, I mean, how is that for you to watch Sokka, he puts on the facade that he's like this big, strong, tough guy. And we've already addressed that Suki can take care of herself. Even in the first episode that she's introduced to. Like, Sokka, like, wants to protect Suki for some reason.
Well, it took me a split second because I was like, yeah, what's happening here? Because I thought he was just kind of uncomfortable because he was excited to see her, but kind of distant. You know, when she said she was coming along, you know, he was kind of like, oh, yeah, that's fine. But he's not really super jazzed about it. And she's like, oh, I thought you'd want me to go. So really, he obviously is still grieving from losing Moon Girl.
UA.
And yeah, I mean, and I don't know if that's a great reason to be overprotective. But I mean, I do think that that's a thing. I think that's a thing that people go through. It's like, oh, I've lost somebody. And then so you're like overcompensating. And so, yeah, I think Sokka's still gotta work it out and work through those feelings. And then, I mean, yeah, I think that Suki, you know, obviously has no idea what he's been through and all the trauma that he's experienced and just doesn't know what's really going on with him. And he's not really telling her.
I thought it was interesting that Sokka didn't just confide directly in Suki and like tell her the whole story. I did think it was a really beautiful moment when they're sitting on that plateau and the clouds kind of move away and then you see Sokka like get engulfed in the moonlight. And so he's getting this like quiet moment to kind of think about it. And maybe he feels guilty about letting himself like feel for Suki because he wants to hold on to Yue.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely pick up on that he doesn't feel like he can move on, like he shouldn't, like that would be like cheating on Yue and like just kind of not like, yeah, it's not okay for him to move on. Right. Because like that would mean that he is like forgetting her or something.
And like not honoring her memory, maybe. Mm-hmm. No, I thought it was a really beautiful moment. And when Suki goes in for the kiss with Sokka and he's like thinking about it, did you notice that you can see the moon like between them? That was a pretty clever shot. And it just shows that that's kind of what is keeping Sokka, what's holding him back right now with Suki.
Yeah, that was as soon as that scene stopped, it hit me. I just thought, oh yeah, the moon's right there. Like, I could see how Sokka was like, no, this is just wrong on my part. I'm sorry, you have nothing to do with it. It's just wrong. And then he had to ruin the moment. But this show is really good at that. That it's really good at just stopping the kiss right before it happens.
Well, and it's also, they're good at putting a lot of meaning and depth into seemingly really small scenes. Like just the fact that Sokka's like, no, I shouldn't kiss you. But it's layered on the fact that with the art direction and just the direction in general, like you get the moon, you get them bathed in moonlight, you see the moon, it just kind of looms over that whole scene. And I like the fact that Sokka like holds back from Suki in a way, because he really hasn't grieved Yue's loss. He mentions it in the swamp early on in the season, but he hasn't really taken the time. So maybe he's like taking that moment to kind of like move on and not let go, but like let go of this idea that he can't like find happiness or be happy.
Well, hopefully also that's going into that he cares too much about Suki to just kind of jump in when his brain's kind of not right and be like, hold on, let me fix my heart and kind of get that figured out before, you know, committing to her. But that was also piggybacking off of Katara and Aang's interaction. You know, that was kind of heavy about Appa, who's missing still, and Aang's trying to play it cool. Not doing that great of a job.
There's definitely a lot of emotions in that night And it's interesting, how you bring up that they kind of parallel each other in some way. Like not being able to work through feelings that you should be to move on and to be healthy.
Right. It's like two different examples of just not dealing with
loss.
With loss, yeah.
And with Aang, he kind of retreats inside himself, which has been kind of uncharacteristic for Aang. Like he becomes so far removed from Katara, like kind of emotionless.
Right. I think sometimes where it's like, no, it's like that I overreacted. So my solution is just to not feel anything or to not show emotion, and not, like I'm not going to be triggered because I'm going to just be a stone.
I feel like that's happened to me. Like if I like overreact or do something and it's like, wait, I'm going to overcorrect now. I'm going to do the exact opposite direction. And now I'm going to become a lifeless automaton.
But with that, Katara was able to, again, step up and be like, okay, everybody, now I'm leading the charge and get in line. I'm going to, bend some water, and here we go.
So before that, though, kind of going back to Aang, when they go up to the Serpent's Pass and it says, like, abandon all hope, and everyone's like, oh, no! So there's a Buddhist teaching or a philosophy to abandon hope, and it's not necessarily like a negative thing, like don't have hope. It's mostly this belief to not put all that energy into some positive outcome that might happen in the future that you don't really have control over, but to just take charge of the present moment and be present. And it was interesting that we finally hear Aang for the first time in a while kind of reflect back on his kind of like air nomad training. And so we don't really know much about all of the fundamental trainings of like air nomad philosophy at this point, but it's interesting to see some more parallels with Buddhism there.
And I think that's a really great teaching anyway, of being present in a moment. And I just think that's hard for anybody, even you think about meditation and your mind's kind of wandering and you're thinking about what you have to do or what's going on or whatever. It's like to just be present.
Okay, so then, like you were saying, Katara takes charge.
Yeah, recently Katara is really stepping up, and I like that because I feel like she knows she needs to lead the group in certain ways, and especially like you're really still feeling that absence of Appa. I know, and I kind of forgot that we had like lost him in the last episode. So it's like, oh no,
you got to go on foot.
Oh gosh.
So talking about Katara taking charge in certain situations, I like and appreciate that each of our kind of main characters have different leadership styles, and they're all able to kind of take charge when the time comes. And so Katara, I really like that nobody had to like ask the girl or tell the girl because she has the skills to do something. Katara just jumped in because she knew that she was going to just take charge of that situation. And there was no conference. There was no like, well, shouldn't Aang do it because he's the Avatar? Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate that just about the writing in the world that we've created here, where emotions are free to be expressed and girl power is definitely a strong part. This episode, I think, shows off girl power really, really well.
Yeah, no, and it's very action-packed, and I just feel like it was see a need, fill a need. Troy?
Absolutely. And they also made an excellent point when the serpent comes out of the water and scares everybody, and Sokka turns to Suki, and he goes, don't you know how to control one of these things? You guys live next to a lake. And she goes, just because we're part from that region doesn't mean we know how to control the beast in the water. And I just thought that was an excellent point, just because somebody's from someplace that's known for its, like, you wouldn't go down to Louisiana and expect everybody down there to know how to make an alligator behave.
I would disagree. I bet that is fundamental training, K through 12. I think I think that is a fundamental part of their public education.
That's all they know how to do.
I think this is not the first time we've talked about the Deep South.
Alligators. Okay. Let's move on.
But I also like that Sokka wanted to ask Suki about it. He's like, wait, you got this, right? You're good.
It's like somebody from Texas seeing a big black or brown bear in Oregon and turn to the Oregonian and be like, hey, you guys got plenty of these in your state. You know how they work.
It's
right?
almost like if you're in Canada and you see a moose and you walk up to a random Canadian, you're like, hey, you know what to do with this moose, right? You just sing to it or go A or give it hospitality. Or it's like if you're in Japan and all of a sudden there's a giant lizard that comes out of the ground and starts breathing like crazy nuclear radiation at the buildings. You're like, oh, hey, Naoki, you know what to do in this situation, right? And you're like, no, that's not how it works, okay? Just because I'm from the Oregon coast doesn't mean I know how to talk to salmon, okay? Salmon are delicious, okay?
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
cool rant,
awesome.
guys.
Okay, so the serpent in this episode of The Serpent's Pass, it was actually used once before in the unaired pilot of Avatar. And so the team, Mike and Brian, were like, oh, we really like this design. We don't know what to do with it. And so they finally put it in here.
I feel like we've seen a few serpents in this.
There's
series.
a lot of crazy, scary monsters
The
in
serpent
Avatar.
almost reminds me of the dragon from Mortal Kombat, too.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, like the picture?
Yeah.
Like the symbol?
That's what I kept thinking of every time I saw it.
Troy's like Mortal Kombat.
Okay, so we have Jet trying to recruit Zuko also. And then
Which is kind of like a sweet love story. Like they go and steal from the
steal from the rich.
Yeah, get the better food that's not rotten.
Are
And
you
it-
shipping Zuko and Jet?
Yeah, there's like this moment that Zuko, has his little knives out and he's
They're not
gonna-
knives, they're swords!
whatever. And then like Jet like looks over and it's kind of there's just a look.
Oh,
Takes the
yes.
weed out. He's like,
Yes.
he's my kind of guy.
There's definitely a moment between the two boys.
Well, I think it's more like Jet towards Zuko.
Yeah,
not
I
just-
think Zuko's not into anybody.
No.
Yeah, Zuko's pretty asexual. Okay, so they steal everything. But you also get this other really nice moment, speaking of girl power, where Iroh mistakes Smellerbee for a boy. And then Smellerbee like goes off in a huff and Longshot follows. And I really...
Long shot, always giving the great advice.
He gives the best advice.
I really appreciated that the writers took the time to give Smellerbee a moment to kind of come to terms with herself and her confidence, and that it doesn't matter what other people think. And I think it was a very progressive moment because you have today, like you have all these people all over the spectrum of gender and sexuality, and I think it was pretty progressive in 2006 to have this character who Smellerbee comes off kind of non-binary, and so you kind of have this character who doesn't necessarily conform to anything that we necessarily think of. And so I think it was really great that she's like, hey, no, it's fine. It's fine that he mistook me for a boy. I just have to be who I am, and that's what I'm going to do.
It was weird for me just because the way Smellerbee got offended, it's like she was acting like people call her a boy on a daily basis. I'm like,
You don't know.
that was the first time I've ever heard anybody call her a boy. She didn't say like this happens almost every day. No, it's just more like I just have to accept who I am, no matter what else anybody else thinks of me. I'm like, who else said anything?
We only get one other episode of Smellerbee, and Smellerbee doesn't really factor into Jet, the episode.
Right. So that's what kind of like it was sort of like a cliffhanger for me. It was just like I don't know.
You want the Smellerbee sequel?
I do want a Smellerbee sequel.
Where's the rest of the Freedom Fighters?
Yeah.
They didn't come.
What the big fellow? What's his name?
Pipsqueak.
Pipsqueak.
You think my name is funny? Or the Duke.
Okay, wait. Going back to Smellerbee, I think it just goes back to, you don't know someone's story and you don't know what someone has gone through and what's going to be a trigger for them.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I admit they do think it was nice for them to kind of allow her to have a moment.
What do we think of Iroh having that moment, like reflecting on the fact he's going back to Bong Sing Se?
As a tourist, I'm sure it's kind of bringing up a little bit of like anxiety or like this weird semi-PTSD.
I think they are intentionally letting Iroh kind of play it cool and make him pretty jokey in these episodes. But it's literally where he had his greatest military defeat, where he couldn't like end the siege of 600 days. And it's where his son Liu Ten was killed.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting moving forward.
I really liked the moment where they were like, oh, you've been to Bong Sing Se before? And Iroh's pretty...
Yeah, like as a different man, and
Yeah, when he says, yeah, I've been there once before, but I was a different man. And I really liked that point, and it was really powerful for me.
yeah. Okay, Troy, how was this episode for you?
It was good. I liked the pace. I liked the characters. There was a couple of plot holes, but other than that, it was a really good
Okay,
episode.
what was the plot hole?
Smellerbee, for one.
That's not a plot hole.
To
It's
me,
just
it is.
the fact that you don't
And
need.
to all of our listeners that have the same thing going on as Smellerbee, I am sorry if I offended you. It just, they could have given me a little more indication. For somebody who's never seen this show before, it was just, I don't know, for me it was just a slight overreaction, just because Iroh meant it so innocently that it was a strange name for a young man. But then Smellerbee's like, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl.
But you don't, like Katie said, you don't know what her past is, and you don't need, in strong writing, you don't need the characters to spell out every single motivation or every single thing that's happened to them.
Right.
They can react organically to a situation, and that's an example of showing, not telling, in storytelling.
Unfortunately, I'm one of those viewers who I need the characters to spell everything out for me just so I understand everything that's going on. If they don't spell it
It
all
just
out-
left you wanting more.
It just left me wanting more. Like, I do want to creep into Smellerbee's past. Like, how many
You
people
want to
have?
creep into Smellerbee's past?
Sure.
Were there other plot holes for you in this episode?
There was like no flashback, no past scenes of Iroh at Bong Sing Se.
Bossing say.
Bong Sing Se. Of him leading the charge or him in his more youthful years.
But again, that's not a plot hole. That's just you wanting to have a little bit more. It left you wanting more. It's not necessarily a plot hole.
So yeah, those are my two plot holes.
All right, Troy.
Okay.
So we lead into this beautiful scene. Aang takes off to find Appa. You get one of my favorite shots of the whole series where the music's soaring and Aang is flying up the side of the outer wall of Ba Sing Se. And you get this scene where like the clouds are present and you see Aang flying vertically up.
Wait. Are we moving on to the drill?
Or do you want to talk about the birth?
Yeah, the end of the Serpent's Pass where Katara helps
Deliver a baby?
Deliver a baby.
Again, taking charge.
And then everybody's really moved, but like Aang's like crying,
Sokka
saying,
passes out.
right. Okay, wait, but going back to Aang, where he was able to like kind of release all this like tension he's been feeling and just kind of being able to come to terms with really missing Appa and just, anyway, so hopefully he's going to be a little more.
So did you believe that for Aang's character, seeing a newborn baby was enough to like kind of give him a breakthrough?
I think it was enough of a moment to give him a semi-release, like, oh, this is like a beautiful moment, and
there's more going on in the world besides me like missing my bison.
right, and something that he really cares about, and this thing that he loves, and maybe he had Appa when he was a pup. Anyway.
No, I loved that Aang had his release, and both he and Katara got to share their hug, and Aang was able to. I love that Aang expresses himself, and I love that he is an emotionally mature character, being 112, and that he's able to express himself and kind of discuss what's going on in his heart in a healthy way to Katara. And I really appreciated that he talks about like what Appa means to him, and also reminded him what Katara means to Aang. And he doesn't say it in a romantic way necessarily, but it's just like, you've become really important to me, like Appa is, and I want to hold you close to me.
All right, moving on.
Well, I just want to add one more thing.
One more plot hole?
Yeah, no, so this one is not a plot hole, finally. It was sort of like a spoiler alert when the camera decided to...
The camera didn't decide to do anything.
When they were showing the baby, and then they show Katara with Aang right behind her, I'm like, well, there goes all my predictions.
What do you mean?
I was like, well, so those two are officially shipped and they don't even know it.
Who?
Because they looked at a baby together?
Yep. To me, that was...
Toph and Sokka looked at a baby together.
Yeah, I know, that was beyond foreshadowing.
You and me looked at that baby together.
You don't even know yet.
So we're
Jordan.
shipping Troy and Jordan. So anybody listening, if you are with another person and you see a newborn baby, be warned.
Troy is going to ship you.
You are on a destined path to be together. So watch out. Watch out for those babies. So we see the drill.
Oh, the drill. The episode we were kept hidden last week.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell Troy what the title was, because as it was packaged as The Secret of the Fire Nation, if I was like, oh, the second episode's called The Drill, that kind of implies that maybe that was the secret.
So
of
spoiler
the Fire
alert,
Nation.
I like spoilers. So as soon as I went home last week, I decided to look at the rest of the episodes for this season. I was like, what episode was secret?
You looked up the episode titles for every episode of the season?
Couldn't figure it out. I can't even remember the names of the rest of the episodes, but I was like, what is he talking about?
Oh my god. Okay.
Troy!
No, this is so Troy. Troy's like, oh, I really want to see this movie, but then I watched all the trailers, and so when I saw the movie, I didn't really like it because I'd already known everything from the trailer. Or he wanted to see the movie, but he just looked up the
spoilers
the
and
spoilers
the
and
synopsis.
yeah, and that was it.
Like, he didn't watch Avengers Endgame for over a year.
Yeah.
But he read about it. He knew all the twists.
He knew about Fat Thor. He knew about Steve picking up Mjolnir. He knew about Tony dying. You're sick, Troy.
That's how you say it?
What?
Mjolnir?
How do you pronounce it? Mjolnir?
Meow meow.
No, meow meow. Good one.
Okay.
Oh,
Aang
I am
is-
so disturbed right
Aang-
now.
So yeah, you know how it ends, Troy?
No.
There are spoilers in episode titles, my friend.
So just
There
stop.
might have been, but I was like, okay.
He's like, City of Walls and Secrets. What does that mean?
Yeah, playing it cool.
Yes. And then it was like Secrets of the Fire Nation. I was like, hey, that sounds familiar.
What's the secret? Is it time? Time and oregano?
Aang is flying up the wall. He is gonna go rescue Appa.
He doesn't.
He makes it to the other side to see a
Drill!
And so when I saw that drill, I thought that was
plot hole.
I thought that was a plot hole.
What's the backstory of the drill? Where did it come from?
He said it
Who
was
built it?
secret fire.
How do they secret fires through it? They built it in the secret tunnel. But
Secret tunnel.
I thought that was Bong Sing Se itself, just nothing but desert in a big drill. I was like, well, that's disappointing.
Oh, Bong Sing Se's destroyed, you guys. Turn around. Well, that's pretty funny. Because I guess you don't really know. If you're not like really paying attention to which angle.
I was like, first Omashu, now they destroyed Bong Sing Se. Like, is there any Salvation City in this series?
Bong Sing Se is the largest metropolis in the Avatar world, and it is not a desert or a wasteland.
On the outside, it is.
It sure is.
Yes, it is.
So we technically are almost to Bong Sing Se, and it draws a lot of inspiration from China, obviously, and Beijing. They take some inspiration from that, and also the Great Wall, which this is supposed to be about. So apparently, the Great Wall of China in ancient times, like the people who guarded the wall, like they lived there, which is interesting.
Was big enough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, it's like, well, this is your job.
Now all of China knows you're here.
Okay, Mulan.
Perfect. That's a great opening. Oh man, we should watch Mulan now.
Okay,
I'm down.
the drill. So we see it, and then it like you go inside the drill to reveal
The ladies,
like the bad girls, and there's a sweet red like mood lighting.
Yeah, because they're Fire Nation. It's got to be red.
I just feel like it was a little more moody than normal.
Oh, there was definitely
It's
a
very
vibe.
dim.
But I'm curious if maybe they're using the red light so it didn't affect like your vision. Like when they went outside, like their night vision wouldn't
But
be
wait,
compromised.
Don't they use different, like those kind of lights, like in submarines when they're submerged?
Oh, maybe. I don't
Like,
know.
I mean, in every Navy movie I've seen, which is not a whole lot.
Hunt for Red October.
Yes, never saw that movie, but you know, it was in a submarine, and then there was the it was like a 4-hour long submarine that came out like way in the 70s.
A 3-hour-long submarine
Movie.
That came out in the 70s.
Wait, a movie, a 3 or 4 hour submarine movie.
Das Boot.
Das Boot.
I'm sorry to all my to all the German. I keep calling you guys my readers. I know you guys are my listeners.
No, it's fun to say readers.
Yes.
My readers, Troy.
I might have just
possessive.
totally butchered that name, but yes, in Das Boot, I remember in a few of those scenes, the submarine, like, if there was something going on, if they were in action or if they were resting, I think the whole ship went red on the inside.
Yeah, as soon as the red lights on. Well, actually, we do have a pretty big German population who listens to us. Guten Tag.
Okay, so then Aang's like, oh no, the drill. So then he goes back, tells tells the gang.
The Aang gang.
And then the Aang gang's like, Aang, why you back? I thought you went to find the fur ball. Anyway.
Yeah, because they had like a pretty emotional goodbye. Like, we'll see you when we see you.
Yeah, and then Toph, superstar, is like, okay, and like amplifies everybody up, right, on Flying on the Rock.
How long did it take them to like walk all the way over there? Because it seemed like the wall was pretty far away.
Right. I feel like Toph was like, oh, I could just like put us on. Yeah, I'm like, why haven't we been doing this the whole time?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so she elevators up to the top.
We meet the guy who's in charge, who's
much
like,
of a
we don't
leader.
need your help, Avatar. But obviously they do.
Yeah, and how long have they known about this drill? I mean, they probably have seen it for a few days. I mean, it's not moving very fast.
Right.
The first day they see it, hey, that looks like a drill. Second
What's a
day-
drill?
Yeah, what's the backstory of that drill?
So the backstory of the drill, here we go.
boy.
Back in episode 17, the Northern Air Temple, when we meet the Mechanist, who is responsible for creating like the war balloon, you see blueprints for a large drill in his laboratory. And the War Minister guy, yes, Katie?
I was just going to say, laboratory.
Good one.
Laboratory.
So, War Minister guy, the dude who's hanging out with the bad girls, it's the same guy from the Northern Air Temple episode who shows up. You remember when he shows up the first time and Aang like messes up his hair and he's like, "Yeah, get out of here, Fire Nation!" So it's the same dude. So he is like apparently like the mechanically, technologically minded War Minister guy. So they have created a drill probably from the blueprints laid out by the Mechanist.
And since the Mechanist teamed up with Sokka and Aang in that one episode, I wonder if that drill was completed by that episode, because all this time that's gone by, if that drill is relatively new, the Mechanist could have totally tweaked it just a little bit to where the Aang gang could have easily, taken it apart.
Well, I doubt that they would have created it near the Northern Air Temple. That wouldn't have made any sense to like construct this giant drill up there.
Right.
He probably was just like, oh, here's this idea, have fun, committing genocide, leave me alone.
Okay, so moving on. They decide they're going to go and take the drill apart from the inside because, Sokka's the brains coming up with the plan. Oh, yeah, because Ty Lee goes and takes away everybody's, blocks their chi. And so we find out by the injured soldiers.
That scene where all the soldiers are like falling down and Ty Lee's like standing by and the camera's like panning around. That was like one of the preview shots when they did like teaser trailers for The Secret of the Fire Nation hour-long special. And I distinctly remember that to this day.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
stuff.
a pretty good scene. I could see they probably had really, really sinister music playing in the background.
I think they did, but it wasn't like it wasn't her like hitting everybody. It was just the last guy falling.
The
and panning
enemies
over.
are getting stronger and they're getting closer to Bong Sing Se.
That wasn't it.
No.
And it sounded like said Bong Sing Se. Okay, so this was a Doctor Movie episode.
Oh, clearly.
But it's interesting because the art style was very different from the last Doctor Movie episode, The Desert. Like they looked more like JM.
Yeah. No, it looked better, but still off.
Right.
Yeah, no, because there was like just a couple scenes where it's like, everyone's eyes are kind of doing weird things.
Or like face shapes got kind of angular at times. It was weird, really weird. Also, Azula has only showed up to this at this point in Doctor Movie episodes.
Ugh.
Yep.
Well, that's too bad.
The only time we've seen her so far. Which is really interesting because we've seen her like, 4 or 5 times now? Doctor Movie. Every time.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why they can't get it together, is they work so hard on making sure she looks good, but everybody else looks fugly.
Okay, can we talk about Azula's nails?
Yeah. We've noticed this the whole time. They're like long, like stiletto nails.
What does that do for you? I mean, what would bending be like with the... I guess, you're fine.
I think it'd be fine.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a big deal.
Ugh, Azula.
Okay, so Toph, superstar, right, takes the gang, makes the
poofy cloud.
Oh yeah. Poof. Mm-hmm. And then takes them down underground, and Sokka's like, "Oh, it's so dark down here, like can't see anything." And she's like, "Oh no, what a nightmare." And
that part's hilarious.
The biggest pun for her blindness ever, delivered perfectly.
In the Indonesian version of the show, apparently they wrote it so Toph was scared when they went underground.
Classic.
Yeah, good one, guys. No, so that part's hilarious. Oh no, what a nightmare. Yeah. And Jessie Flower, again, she is doing a really great job as Toph. I think we're undervaluing Toph's like contributions to the team at this point. Like, I don't know if anyone is really like taking a moment to be like, we would not be where we are right now without you, Toph.
Yeah, no, she's the MVP. She's doing great.
They go in. I don't know about the engineers that are working the drill. Like, they're all a bunch of, like, gray-skinned, muscular weirdos.
You don't know they're weird.
They seem kind of weird.
They're just
I
muscular.
can almost provide you a backstory of that.
Yeah, where's my graphic novel exploring the life of the engineers within the drill?
So they're probably pale and muscular because there's no sunlight down there, and
But they're not, like, pale. They're just kind of gray.
Yes. Well, they're probably they're probably dealing with different chemicals. Ammonia is a big chemical that goes into a lot of engineering, and so that would explain their gray skin and their gas masks.
Well, you're also surrounded by what, metal, and there's no like natural sunlight.
Right.
Okay, you guys.
Okay, we need to move on.
What do we think about their plan to cut through all these like giant metal braces to take down the drill?
I wasn't buying the whole water slicing through metal.
I think it can if it goes fast enough.
The way they were doing it, didn't seem like it was fast enough.
No,
it was exhausting to watch.
It was it would definitely kind of slowed down the pace of the whole episode.
I do wonder how hard it would have been for her to...
Troy just punched the laptop. By the laptop, the desktop.
Wow. No, it's fine. It's fine.
If she just made the water into like a little ring and just had it spinning around instead of playing catch with Aang for about, I'm sure what felt like an eternity to them.
Or like freezing it because the water would have expanded and it would have like...
Again,
Yeah.
just another one of those, like, there's many ways to do this, but it feels like
skin a cat.
Yeah, we're choosing the hardest way possible.
Also, it's a hydraulic system, so they could have just ransacked the like pipes and the valves, and that probably would have done it too.
Yeah, I feel like there was definitely a missed opportunity, and it was hard coming from the Serpent's Pass, where I feel like that was so like there was so much going on, and there wasn't as much happening with the drill. This was definitely just a little slower paced.
Apparently, people in the fandom maybe don't love the drill episode, and so I have a lot of nostalgia for the drill. Like, I would watch the Serpent's Pass and the drill like pretty regularly. Like, if I was gonna rewatch an episode, it was sometimes just those two episodes. Like, I really liked them for some reason, and I think I had DVR'd them too, so it was like one of the first things I DVR'd, so I'd watch it a few times. I've seen these episodes probably more than most of the other ones.
Most. Also, I'm pretty sure I said paste instead of pace.
That's fine.
To let me know.
I will. When I
Okay.
edit this episode.
Also, when we're thinking about what's happening with Zuko and Iroh.
Their names are Lee and Mushi.
Not Mishi. Is that what she
No,
said?
she
it
said
was called?
Mushi. Mushy. She said mushy. Do you think
He's
they're
like,
going to
it's
go on a
mushy.
date? Do you think there's like a future there?
I don't know.
You're not shipping them?
Well, there was no baby.
Well, Zuko's kind of a baby.
And he's like, I'm going to forget all this, or I'm going to pretend like whatever it
I'm going to
was.
pretend like I've never
It doesn't
saw
count when the baby's talking.
Ugh, coldest tea in Bong Sing Se.
Yeah.
No, poor uncle. That was rough.
Uncle
But
Iroh,
yeah.
he will cry over spilt tea.
I don't know why he sounds kind of like Batman.
Yeah.
So what you don't notice is that when Zuko and Jet are having their like bro moment, in the background you see Iroh holding his cold tea, and he looks around a few times. Like he gets pretty shifty over the course of like a couple seconds, and then he kind of like turns his body away from the camera, and then when he turns back in the background, he's got a steaming cup of tea. That's pretty great.
I
Very
was
clever.
wondering why I couldn't figure out why Jet was looking at Iroh in almost like horror and disdain.
Because he would firebending.
Right, I didn't catch on. I was like, oh look, Iroh finally found some hot tea. It didn't dawn on me that it was the same tea.
But it's definitely Jet's paranoia that even if he was just an innocent man, like getting a hot cup of tea, even if that was the case, Jet was still going to go after him. That's like the scary part.
Yeah, no, Jet's definitely unstable. And right at that point, just tried to convert Zuko. And it was like, join our crew. And, you know, Zuko's like, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I'm just counting down the time until him and Zuko break up.
Who, Zuko and Jet?
Yep.
Yeah, well,
I think they've probably kind of
that's-
already broken up.
I think that's happened already.
Yep.
So what do you think? Where do you think they go from here, Jet and Zuko? You have read all the episode
Well,
titles.
Katara in that one episode, she froze Jet to a tree. I can
So
imagine.
now it's going to get lit on fire on a tree.
That sounds... Yes, that's how I see that going. Just really get the message. Or he might threaten the whole squad with fire.
Well, the next episode is called Jet Fuel. So, no, it's not. It's not called Jet Fuel. That was a joke for me.
Okay, can we go back to the drill?
No.
That
Yes.
drill totally looks like it was like modeled after the Titanic in a way.
No.
No.
Have you seen the Titanic?
Yes.
It doesn't...
They look like they were about the same size, roughly.
Hey, the pace in this episode is kind of like the drill for me. We need to just
Speed it up. Let's keep talking.
I have to talk about when they finally, plug up the drill.
Like when Katara and Toph, shove the slurry up into it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Which is good. But the sludge kind of looks like fake cheese, like gravy or something. It's like
fake
gravy,
cheese gravy?
Yeah,
it was
like
grossing
cold
me out.
gravy. Like I could understand why some of the kids thought it'd be fun to jump in, and why the one girl was like, I'm not doing it.
They didn't think it was fun. They had to escape being murdered.
I kind of think Ty Lee thought it was fun.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
okay.
she totally jumped on that like, oh, you're lost.
I don't know if she thought it was fun. She was like, "There's no problem here." It was a Katie moment, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, fake cheese gravy? Here we
Fake
go.
cheese gravy train. I'm in. Choo choo.
No, I am
also,
not in.
it's called slurry, which is a real word, which is dirt and water mixed together.
So I had a big question about Toph.
I don't know who Toph is. Tofu is a thing.
Try
Topher
again.
Grace is a person.
Oh, I had
Try
a big
again.
question about Toph.
I could tell you about Toph. Yeah.
Okay, not tofu.
I don't know much about tofu.
So Toph, I thought she had to be connected to an element in order to control it, like literally touching the object in order to control it. So as all that cheesy gravy is coming out the back of the drill.
Please don't say cheesy gravy. The cheesy discharge.
Tailee's in this gravy train, and it's coming out, and I think Katara is telling Toph, she goes, "Help me out," and Toph, without even touching it, just holds it back.
Yeah, I guess up till this point, we've seen Toph bend Earth when she is touching it in some way. But even though, she was bending out pieces of the mountain in the Serpent's Pass episode. But this one, I think she could probably just feel the vibration of the drill and kind of understand that there was Earth in that water, and so she could bend
so
it.
she was connected to the Earth, which was connected to the drill, which was connected to the.
No, I don't think that's it. I don't think she has to be connected. Kind of like if you were standing here and you could bend a rock formation that was in the distance.
Okay.
Technically you're attached.
Yeah.
All of the Earth is attached to all of the Earth. So in that case, that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think as long as there is earth and rock for her to bend, she can quote unquote see and move it.
But Katara, she doesn't need to touch the water. She's bending the elements.
Skipping ahead a couple minutes into this episode, am I the only one who's not? No, of course I'm not the only guy who's noticing this stuff. Aang
Of course not.
What are
Aang
you saying?
is finally growing up. He's gotten very serious about what needs to be done.
You say this every episode.
He put the rock in the train, runs up the
You
mountain.
put the rock in the train?
There's
It's
no
the
train.
drill, Troy!
He puts it-
The cheese train. It's the gravy train. But the
Toot toot.
The way he took it down, and Azula just barely missed him with another blue fireball, whatever she shoots.
Psychotic Azula.
Oh yeah, but
Sweating.
it was. No, I can see why you DVR'd this episode. This is one of the best written and best directed episodes. Even though the animation did come from Dr. Movie, it was still a great episode.
I think Mike and Brian will be very happy to hear you say that because they co-wrote this episode and they haven't co-written an episode in a while. So the creators did this episode.
Yeah.
But they couldn't say, "Hey JM, can you animate this one? Speed up the pace a little bit."
Yeah, they obviously weren't bothered by it.
No. So I did appreciate Aang's ability to take charge of that situation. He went at it alone. He didn't need anybody's help. He was able to effectively figure out the best way to create a wedge to destroy the drill. But did he use airbending or earthbending or a combination of the two when he like ran down the side of the wall?
He's starting to combine his powers, which I have a mad respect for. I'm like, yes, that's what I've been waiting for him to like literally start combining the elements together.
Yeah, we had to practice, Troy.
I know.
He's 12, dang it.
Well, when's he gonna be 13?
No birthdays?
I don't think we celebrate birthdays.
He's been 12 for 112 years, huh?
Poor guy.
Well, they're probably Jehovah.
Okay, so Avatar Extras, that was a little thing that Nickelodeon did to... What about being Jehovah? What's going on?
It was a bad joke about, like, no birthday parties. What?
Oh,
No reaction. Okay.
So Avatar Extras, the thing Nickelodeon did where they would play the episode along with, like, little bubbles that popped up. In this episode, they, like, objectified the boys throughout. Like, at one point, they were like, oh, Zuko and Jet, those handsome devils. Or said something like that. Called them handsome devils. And then at one point, called Sokka a stud.
Wait, who?
Avatar Extra. So it would be the Nickelodeon aired the episode, and then the team created little, like, factoids to, like, pop up throughout the episode. And so in this episode, The Drill, they, like, used a few of them to, like, objectify the boys. It was kind of weird.
I love when people overcorrect.
I know. I think that's definitely a thing. You're like, oh, hey, boys, I'm a boy, too. You want to slap my butt?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they definitely wouldn't be like, look how cute Toph is. Oh, there's Katara looking pretty sexy.
Yeah.
Like, it just wouldn't have flown.
No, I just don't think it should happen at all. But
Just in general.
yeah.
I mean, granted, Jet and Zuko are handsome devils. Troy, handsome devils?
No.
Troy kind of has Zuko's haircut right now.
Well, Zuko's the best one, so that's a...
Yeah.
You are the most handsome devil. I actually think Jet's the handsome devil.
Nope.
Still forgettable.
All right, we're going to agree to disagree here.
Okay, let's...
Jet's gonna become fueled by Uncle Iroh.
Jet fuel.
Hold on. So we stopped the drill, right?
It pops.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, the gang's on the wall, and it's like, oh, we did it, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's come up with our names. But where'd the bad girls go? Where'd the fire crew go? Like, everybody just pieced out?
I think they're probably just in the drill still. Just like, what are we going to do?
Plot hole.
Well, it's not a plot hole. We just didn't see it.
Well,
Doesn't have to be seen.
Why are we going to see it next?
I don't know, Katie.
Troy and I are visual.
You've seen this series.
And
They
I don't
haven't
remember.
spelled it out for me yet, whether or not they're still in that drill.
Also, is Cabbages going to be here?
Is he in the drill?
Or did
Is he Fire Nation?
No,
They gave me another spy.
That's what those cabbages really were. They're all little Fire Nation babies, and you plant them in the ground, they turn into soldiers.
Wow, that's genius.
Okay, I don't believe how mechanically minded Sokka is, coming from the southern water tribe where the most mechanically advanced thing was an igloo.
It's because he's a man, and he just knows that instinctively.
I think we missed, speaking of plot holes, I think there's a plot hole where Sokka learns how to read schematics and understand how a giant metal machine from the Fire Nation works and the best way to take it down. We just kind of accept the fact that Katara, Aang, and Sokka can all put their heads together and figure out a way to dismantle this giant killing machine.
Right, and we're all inspired by it. That's why the three of us are doing this.
So we're going to go take down a giant metal machine?
Yeah.
There's one across the street.
Just
Right.
don't expect me to look at the schematics and figure out how to take it down.
Yeah, so the bracing here, we'll just get some water. We're going to break that up. Take it all down.
That's right.
Okay. For what we know, the threat of the Fire Nation has subsided for right now, and all of our friends are heading into Bong Sing Se. We have Jet, Smellerbee, and Longshot creeping in, like, the subway Earth monorail behind Zuko and Iroh, who are going...
And they're sitting next to the new well, not the new family.
Aww.
The family that has a new baby.
Yeah, because they have a teenage daughter, and maybe they're married, maybe they're not, maybe they're brother and sister, maybe they're just two friends, maybe they're brother and sister. I think I'm sticking with that one.
Man, why don't you say maybe they're brother and sister one more time?
I don't know about that, but I will say this. I give both these episodes 8 yips.
Wow.
Man, he's yipping.
Yip, 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 yip.
It's been a while.
Did you count those?
I think so.
All right. So, what do we think Zuko and Iroh's plan is right now?
Why are you looking at me? I've seen it. I don't remember, but I've seen it. Oh, wait. I think I do know. Okay, go.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think Zuko knows what his next goal is, other than to just seek a new life in Bong Sing Se. And
Sing Se.
Bong Sing Se.
Which means the impenetrable city, or you can also translate it into the eternally solid city.
But wait, what is a new life? What does that look like in your mind for them?
Well, obviously, Iroh is drinking tea every day. Zuko, that's the part I can't guess on because I don't know. All I know about his personality is that he was banned from the Fire Nation. Now that
You know so much about his personality.
Right. Are they going to have to start selling their own cabbages, or are they going to be musicians on the street? Like, what does that mean?
I mean, only time will tell.
I do think it's been interesting to see in these episodes, like, a little bit how relevant it is today with the refugee situation going into Bong Sing Se. And I think it's nice that they humanize the refugees and they don't make it sound like this bad, scary thing that they're having to, like, go infiltrate Bong Sing Se. And that's something that's really bothered me about today's, like, geopolitical climate, is that we take away the humanity from refugees and we don't have empathy with their strife and what they're coming from. Like, if you disagree with me, think about the world of Avatar right now as a parallel to what's going on in our real world. You have the Fire Nation who's trying to destroy these people's land, their lives, their way of life, and they have to go escape and find refuge in a place that will accept them and will give them an opportunity for a better way of life.
Right. And that also means, like, going over the Serpent's Pass and, like, kind of in these and eating really crummy food or things that maybe like food or water that's not safe to consume. And yeah, and it's not for example, Iroh and Zuko aren't going to Bong Sing Se to overtake it. And, it's like, right, they're just going there to live in peace.
Yeah, they're not going there to take advantage of it. They're going there to... Iroh wants to go to contribute and to find, like, happiness. And to... You have someone like Iroh, who that's his mindset, who objectively makes everyone around him and everywhere he's at a better place with his wisdom and love. And I just think people need to be more understanding of that worldwide, that people who are refugees aren't scary and they're not coming here to pillage our lands or take away our opportunities. They're here to enhance our lives and enhance their life, and it's a win-win situation.
Well, and the other thing about that is most people want to be home, and, like, this isn't their first choice, or even their second or third choice a lot of times. It's like, this is just the only option.
Right, in a perfect world, they would be where they would want to be, which is where, most of the time, where they're from, and they would want that to be a better place, but sometimes it's just not an opportunity.
So with that, be kind to each other.
Love first.
Judge less.
Express yourself.
Express yourself.
All right, kids, we're heading into Bong Sing Se in these next episodes, and we are sprinting to the finish of Book 2, which Troy knows every episode. So, until next time, may we enter the great city of Bong Sing Se.
Yep, yep.
Yep, yep.
Yep, yep. Like a one-on-one conversation about Super Smash?
Yeah.
You want to smash?
He played as the Wii Sword Fighter.
The Mii Sword Fighter.
Mii Sword Fighter.
Did he had like a face? Was it his face?
No.
Just the generic
face.
You could like get costumes for that. Like you can make it look like you or I. Oh, you want some chapstick? Are we touching lips?
No, I'm just bringing awareness. Wait, it was kind of like, it's the Mii Sword Fighter.
When I think about
when
Super Smash,
he went kaboom.
When he went kaboom, my lips got moist.
Kaboom.
Instant chap. You guys want a chap?
Okay, are we checking this out?
Chap.